Imagine this. You walk into a car dealership, ready to buy your dream vehicle, only to find out the price has skyrocketed overnight by thousands of dollars. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, that's exactly what's happening across America today. Thanks to the Trump administration's controversial tariff policies, the automotive industry is in chaos. Higher costs, job losses, and disrupted supply chains are just the tip of the iceberg. In this video, we'll break down how these tariffs are reshaping the auto industry and why it matters to you. Buckle up, because this ride is about to get bumpy. By the way, if you're new here, welcome to Behavioral Hacks, where we decode complex topics and bring them to life in ways anyone can understand. Make sure to stick around till the end. We've got some insights that might just change how you see trade policies forever. Segment number 1. The shock of tariffs. A historical perspective. Let's rewind for a moment. Protectionist trade policies aren't new in America. Remember the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930? It was supposed to protect domestic industries, but ended up worsening the Great Depression. Fast forward to today, and history seems to be repeating itself. The Trump administration's America First doctrine has slapped tariffs on vehicles and parts from countries like Mexico and Canada, some as high as 50%. Why does this matter? It's because the auto industry isn't just another sector. It contributes 3% to the US GDP and employs nearly 10 million people. These tariffs were supposed to boost American manufacturing, but instead, they've triggered a chain reaction of unintended consequences. From rising production costs to strained global partnerships, the fallout is already being felt. And guess who's footing the bill? That's right, you the consumer. Segment number 2. The cost crisis. What's happening behind the scenes? Here's the harsh reality. Automakers like Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis are bleeding money. Wall Street analysts predict a staggering $80 billion in industry-wide losses, with Detroit's Big Three facing a potential $605,000 in production costs per vehicle. That's like trying to build a car with one hand tied behind your back. And it's not just the companies suffering. Workers are paying the price too. Take Stellantis, for example. In April 2025, they paused production at plants in Mexico and Canada, idling 6,000 workers. Broader studies estimate job losses could reach up to 715,000 across the US, hitting manufacturing hubs in the Midwest the hardest. For consumers, the pain is equally real. Vehicle prices are expected to rise by $4,400 on average. That's enough to price millions of Americans out of the market. And with new car sales already down 12%, it's clear that demand destruction is well underway. Hey, quick reminder. If you're finding this analysis helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from Behavioral Hacks channel. We're all about breaking down big ideas into bite-sized insights. Segment number 3. Automakers' survival strategies. So how are automakers responding to this crisis? Some are passing the costs directly to buyers. For instance, Stellantis added a 3% import fee on Canadian-sourced vehicles. Others, like Ford, are offering temporary discounts to soften the blow, but these are just band-aids on a much bigger wound. The bigger moves? Companies are scrambling to localize production. Nissan, for example, reversed earlier cuts at its Tennessee plant to align with the new NAFTA rules. General Motors is investing $1.2 billion in Ohio and Michigan factories to produce batteries domestically. But here's the catch. These changes take time and money resources many companies don't have right now. Meanwhile, the race to compete with China's dominance in electric vehicles, like BYD, is heating up. Ford is teaming up with SK Innovation to create battery plants, and on the flip side, Tesla is trying to score some exemptions for key materials like graphite. But even with these efforts, the US is still playing catch-up in the global EV race. Segment number 4. The bigger picture. What this means for America. The ripple effects of these tariffs go far beyond the auto industry. Economists warned that they could reduce US GDP by $62.2 billion annually. Regions like Michigan and Ohio, where auto manufacturing makes up 14% of jobs, are staring down the barrel of a recession. Meanwhile, Retaliatory tariffs from the EU and China are slamming the brakes on US exports, ousting companies like Ford hundreds of millions in lost revenue. And let's not forget the global stage, with China producing 60% of the world's EV. In dominating battery supply chains, US automakers risk losing their competitive edge. GM CEO Mary Barra put it bluntly, "We are ceding the future of mobility to China unless policy aligns with industrial reality." So, where do we go from here? The Trump administration's tariffs may have been designed to protect American jobs, but they've instead created a perfect storm of higher costs, job losses, and global market losses. For consumers, this means more expensive cars and fewer choices. For the US, it means risking its position as a global leader in the automotive industry. At its core, the impact of the Trump administration's tariffs on the automotive industry is a fascinating case study in behavioral economics. The science of how people and organizations make decisions, often irrationally, in complex systems. This story teaches us valuable lessons about human behavior, decision biases, and the unintended consequences of policy choices. Let's break it down into simple takeaways. Number 1, present bias versus long-term thinking. One of the key insights from behavioral economics is present bias, the tendency to prioritize short-term gains over long-term benefits. The tariffs were designed to protect American jobs immediately, but they ignored the long-term costs. Higher vehicle prices, job losses, and reduced global competitiveness. Number 2, loss aversion and risky choices. Behavioral economics shows that people feel the pain of losses more intensely than the joy of gains. Tariffs created significant losses for automakers, higher production costs, declining sales, and strained supply chains. To avoid these losses, companies made risky decisions, like passing costs to consumers or halting production entirely. In daily life, fear of loss can lead to poor decisions, like holding on to a bad investment too long or avoiding necessary changes. Understanding this bias helps you make more balanced choices. Number 3, the illusion of control. Policymakers believed tariffs would give them control over the economy by boosting domestic manufacturing. Instead, they triggered chaos, job losses, inflation, and global retaliation. This reflects a common cognitive bias, overestimating our ability to predict or control outcomes. For us, life is unpredictable, and trying to control everything can lead to frustration. Focus on what you can influence, like your mindset or preparation, rather than obsessing over things outside your control. Number 4, framing effects in consumer behavior. How information is framed shapes how people respond. Automakers like Ford use temporary discounts to frame price hikes as bargains. While Stellantis added an import fee to shift blame for higher costs onto tariffs, these are classic examples of framing effects in action. Be aware of how framing influences your own decisions. For example, don't fall for sales tactics that create a false sense of urgency. Think critically before buying. Number 5, nudging toward better outcomes. Behavioral economics emphasizes the power of nudges, small interventions that guide people toward better choices. The tariffs inadvertently nudged automakers to localize production and invest in electric vehicles. Even though these moves were costly and time-consuming, you can use nudges in your own life to build better habits. For instance, setting up automatic savings transfers nudges you to save without thinking about it. Segment number 5, key takeaway: systems thinking through a behavioral lens. Behavioral economics reminds us that decisions don't happen in isolation. They're part of interconnected systems. Tariffs were intended to help one group American workers, but ended up hurting others: consumers, dealerships, global markets. This underscores the importance of systems thinking, understanding how actions ripple through networks and affect everyone involved. Segment number 6, closing thought: smarter decisions, better outcomes. Ultimately, the story of these tariffs teaches us that smarter decisions, whether in business or personal life, require awareness of biases, clarity about long-term goals, and an understanding of interconnected systems. By applying principles from behavioral economics, we can navigate challenges more effectively and create outcomes that benefit everyone. If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the issues shaping our world. Whether it's trade policies, economic trends, or industry innovations, Behavioral Hacks is here to keep you in the know. Together, let's navigate this new era of trade realities one video at a time. Like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the stories that matter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.